Hello everyone. Hello friends. Welcome to the first impression of MAHCET 2023 slot number 1 for the second day. So 26th March, yes. So the paper has just finished. 11:30 was the scheduled time, and as promised, we are here live in front of you with the first impression for this second slot of first slot of the second day. So friends, those who are right now live, you can share your experience with me. I'll also be telling you what we saw in this examination in the first slot today. So I had two or three colleagues who have just came out, and I've got a feedback for this slot. This is the feedback that I've got directly from the experts who have just taken this examination. All right. So good afternoon, everyone. So, in a few minutes from now, I'll be sharing what happened in this slot vis-a-vis like its comparison, slight comparison with what we saw yesterday. So it is clear that like Srinivas sir, who has taken the one of the sessions yesterday for the analysis. So Srinivas sir just came out of the session and he told me that today there were no glitches as far as the timer is concerned. So this is the feedback of one of the persons who has taken the examination. But I want to know this thing from all of you, that did you suffer any glitches as far as the timer is concerned? Yesterday we all know what happened. So at some places the timer started with the 180 minutes. Some of the students were given complete 180 minutes. Some of the students, like for them, the timer stopped, the paper stopped, the computers hanged somewhere before, like 35 minutes before the end of the examination. So all of you, those who have taken this examination today, 26th of March, in the first slot, who have just came out and who are right now watching this session live, they all can share their experience. I'm sure that, yes, Abhishek, I will be telling you each and everything about the level of difficulty, about the nature of this examination. So we are just going to start in 1 or 2 minutes. So I have everything in front of me. I'm just waiting for students to join in. I'm waiting for the students who have just finished their examination, and they will come live and probably they will share their experience. All right. So let us start with the first impression. Let's keep it short because I believe the students who will be going for the examination in the second slot today, they will be anxiously waiting for this. So let's quickly have a look at it. So the paper was pretty normal. There were 200 questions. All right. Now, few highlights that I can tell all of you is the paper was still jumbled. All right. So in one of the papers, it was jumbled, but major chunk of the questions were together. For example, let's say the paper started with QA section. So there were 15-20 questions of QA together, like in one block, and then some other questions came in the next block. So first, let's say 15-20 questions of quant came, then 15-20 questions of logical reasoning came, and so on. So yes, the paper was jumbled. Yesterday, when we have seen in some of the cases, the paper was jumbled. Some of the students were sharing that the paper was jumbled. Some of people were saying that it was not jumbled, it was sectional, but there were no bifurcations, there were no names that were given to the sections. But today's analysis says that the paper was jumbled, but ऐसा नहीं था कि एक क्वेश्चन क्वांट का आया, फिर दूसरा क्वेश्चन वर्बल का आया, फिर तीसरा क्वेश्चन क्वांट का आया, ऐसा नहीं था. 15-20 क्वेश्चन क्वांट के आए, then 15-20 questions of verbal, then 15-20 questions of logical reasoning. Fine. So that was the feedback as far as the jumbled or the non-jumbled nature of the paper is concerned. Secondly, in this, just to add, analytical reasoning का जो section था, there were 25 questions and they came together. So 25 questions of analytical reasoning. Okay, sorry, abstract reasoning, I'm sorry. So this was abstract reasoning. So ये वाले जो questions थे, 25 questions, they all were together. Fine. So इसमें कुछ jumbled नहीं था. So analytical reasoning, abstract reasoning के जितने भी 25 questions थे, they all were together. Okay, now let's quickly talk about the level of difficulty. Okay, now talking about or starting with verbal RC. Now, yesterday in the first lot where we have seen 13 questions of verbal RC, which were divided in two RC passages of 5 plus 8 questions, today it was completely opposite that. So there were around 18 questions of RCs. Okay, 18 questions in RCs, fine. And these 18 questions were divided in 6 RC passages. All right. So these 18 questions were divided in 6 RC passages, and one of the passage was small, one passage was small, and remaining 5 RC passages were of above average length. So somewhere around 300 to 400 words in 5 RC passages, right? Now, 6 RC passages, only 18 questions, that makes it difficult. So you'll have to read all these RC passages again and again, and then you can answer these questions. So on an average, there were 2 or 3 questions or 4 questions maybe for each of these RC passages. Yesterday, we saw one RC passage that was pretty lengthy, 500-600 words ka tha, but there were 8 questions related to that. Then another one, 300 words wala jo RC passage tha kal, usme 5 questions the. But today, the length of the RC passages were above average and the number of questions attached to every RC passage was less. That makes the overall level of difficulty slightly on a higher side. I'll call it moderate. Fine. So overall verbal RC का जो level of difficulty था, that was moderate. कल easy to moderate था, but today it was moderate. All right. And 18 questions of RC passages divided in 6 RC passages. Vocabulary was easy to moderate. Fine. With the number of questions similar to yesterday. Grammar was again easy to moderate. Fine. So this was the overall level of difficulty for verbal RC. Fine. Okay. Now let's move ahead and look at the level of difficulty of other sections. Now talking about abstract reasoning, the overall level of difficulty was easy. Yesterday it was like again easy. So today also there were 25 questions and all these questions were of easy level of difficulty. Fine. Next is logical reasoning. There were 75 questions overall. The breakup of the questions, though I have not got the exact breakup, okay, though I have not got the exact breakup, but there were like similar type of questions that we have seen yesterday. Now here, overall level of difficulty was moderate. So yesterday when it was easy to moderate, today it was slightly higher. And the most important thing is this section was time consuming. All right, so there were lengthy questions, थोड़े बड़े questions थे. Overall time consuming section था ये, right? Next is quant and data interpretation. Now, definitely there were more number of questions in data interpretation as compared to yesterday's slot. So yesterday we saw 15 questions in data interpretation, which were divided in 3 sets of 5 questions each. Today, I have got an intel that there were minimum 4 sets. It can be 5 as well. So I'll get the exact number in a few moments. Okay, let me check if I've got this exact number. Okay. All right. So I have some questions, but still we'll have to divide it in different sections. Okay, no problem. Fine. So there were at least 4 sets. So that means there were more than 15 questions in data interpretation, right? The overall level of difficulty for data interpretation was easy to moderate. Fine. Quant, it was slightly tricky, right? But the level of difficulty was easy. Now, quant was divided in 2 parts, as in like jitne bhi questions say, let's say there were 32 questions of quant. So they were divided in 2 different sections. So first chunk of questions, let's say 15-20 questions came at the beginning of the paper. And then next chunk of 15-16 questions came after that. Okay. So quant wala jo tha, properly jumbled nahi tha. So there were chunk of questions that you will see. So itna zyada problem nahi hai, I believe. Right? Okay, so quant was easy. Like in case you are a smart student, then definitely you'll be able to attempt most number of questions of quant. All right. Okay. So friends, this was the overall level of difficulty of each and every section. And looking at this level of difficulty, we can say that the cutoffs based on this particular slot will be slightly below yesterday's level. So yesterday, when we predicted that 99.9 percentile can be achieved at 150. Now, looking at today's paper, I would say that the same percentile 99.9, if you are looking at the top college, which is JBIMS, then you may achieve it at somewhere around 142, 143 marks. Definitely below yesterday's level. Okay, so uh, so this was the overall understanding of this slot. Now let me check if I have some in detail information. No, so we don't have it up, as of now, but we'll be conducting a detailed analysis definitely today. So all of you can be present there. Now, one important thing, one different thing that we saw in today's examination, I've just received this information. There was one set of decision making. डिसीजन मेकिंग एंड ये वाला जो सेट था ये डायरेक्टली आई थिंक ऐसा फील हो रहा था कि जैट के एग्जामिनेशन में से डायरेक्टली ये वाला सेट उठा के डाल दिया है ओके we can put it in reading comprehension or we can like put it in logical reasoning. There's still a question mark because it was not directly like reading comprehension. There was some logic involved in this set of data decision making. All right, so yes, we saw decision making as well in this paper. Okay, so just uh, like to summarize everything, I can say that quant was pretty easy. You need to be a smart student and you'll be able to attempt more number of questions for that. Data interpretation was easy to moderate and there were more than 4 sets that we saw. Only one question for a lengthy paragraph. Okay, Pratyush. So Pratyush mentions that there was only one question in a lengthy RC passage. Fine. Now, logical reasoning, it was moderate, definitely, and it was more time consuming as compared to yesterday. Abstract reasoning was easy and all the 25 questions came together. Overall level of difficulty for verbal RC was moderate, where we saw 18 questions from RC passages, which were divided in 6 RC passages. Okay. The length of the passages, one RC passage was small, 60-70 words ka tha, and the remaining 5 RC passages were somewhere around 300 to 400 words. That made this section slightly challenging. Vocabulary was easy to moderate, same is for grammar. सो ओवरऑल अगर देखा जाए कल से थोड़ा सा लेवल डिफिकल्ट हुआ है सो दैट इज व्हाई वी आर सेइंग दैट द कट ऑफ्स आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू गो बिलो नॉर्मल. Okay, so that is it about the first impression of this slot. All of you can join us at 3 p.m. for the detailed analysis of slot number 1 of day 2. Then we'll be back again at 8 p.m. For slot 2 detailed analysis, and I'll also be doing the first impression for slot number 2. So we'll see you once again. All the very best for all the students who are taking this examination in slot 2 today. All the very best. So you can catch us live for the detailed analysis. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.